episode of Real People, Real Ghost Stories. Now, it's a very intriguing day today because we are speaking to you about the former house you lived in on Main Street?
Yeah.
Now, this is the house I met you basically at while we became best friends.
Yeah, that'd be correct.
So we met back in 2006, 2008-ish.
Yeah.
And this house, you said, had a bit of a demonic presence.
Yeah. There's a lot that went on. There's multiple things.
So
the demonic side that you want to get to, that's probably going to be a different story. But we can start at the normal occurrences.
Okay, so tell me about the normal occurrences that happened at this house on Main Street.
Well, so if you're walking into the front door, you walk into the living room. And then there's two routes you can take from that point to go through the house.
Yeah.
You can go to the right and end up through the dining room and then go into the kitchen. Or you can go through a door that leads to a hallway that has a staircase that goes downstairs or upstairs and then go through the other side and end up in the kitchen.
Okay.
We always kept both doors closed. The only door that ever really got open, because the one was blocked by a couch in the living room, was the kitchen door access to the stairwell, but it was always closed after somebody would come down.
Okay.
And you would be sitting in the living room and nobody's upstairs, nobody's downstairs, and you would just hear people running up and down the stairs all times of day. It could be broad daylight, midnight, witching hour, anytime you'd hear people running up and down the stairs the whole time. The doors to that area would open and slam by themselves all the time. Then that was just some of the normal stuff that wasn't really anything too sketchy.
Did you ever look up the history on this house?
So there's a couple of different stories to the history on the house. And I think the most believable one was because that part of town was supposed to be a wealthier, not like the rich part, but like a wealthier part of town, not like the working man's class. It was large homes for that period of time.
Gotcha.
And it was on the main drag. I mean, everybody saw your home. You didn't want to be poor and live in the main drag, especially in that time.
Well, I mean,
the house was built in the 1800s.
Yeah, it was a beautiful house.
But the most believable thing was that there was a woman who was having an affair on her husband. And he came home. He found them in bed. The man that she was with supposedly jumped out the windows of the back bedroom, and the husband shot him from the window, and he died in the backyard. Then hung his wife in the living room before taking his own life. It is the most similar accounts of in multitude that I saw. There was other stories, but you'd only see one of those stories. There was multiple different versions of that story that I just said, so I think that would be more close to the truth of what happened there at the start of that house than anything.
So, with that being said, there was two lustful lovers, one very jealous and vengeful husband, and all three of them died on the premises.
Yeah.
Now, what you could be thinking is these two that were in bed with each other are basically the positive entities of the house, and then you have the evil entity, which is the guy that caught him in bed in the act.
I don't even so much think that he would be the evil entity, or any of them would be. I don't think, because, and that's the thing, I'm trying not to cross lines into another story. Because there's things that drove other stuff to happen.
Yeah.
that I don't think was those three. So like things that I went through there, there was a day I came home from school, I was the first one home, nobody else was there. I'm standing in the living room, and at this point, you know, playing football, I got the longer hair, you know, me and Cody Buckner were growing out the hair, and so were the other guys, I guess, too, not just me and Cody Buckner.
Yeah.
And I was looking in the big plate glass mirror that had been with the house since it was built, and I looked down for a second, and I looked back up, and there was a woman in a white dress standing right behind me, and I froze. I'm standing there staring, and this woman is standing there, and she walks towards the dining room, and I turn, and there's nothing there. I turn and look in the dining room, there's nothing there. So I left. I left the house, was freaked the hell out, and that was the first time I saw her. And then another really funky thing that happened, it happened when I was alone, again, at home. And I thought my sisters had come home. At this point, I was upstairs in my bedroom. My bedroom was the middle bedroom.
Yeah.
And it's at the top of the staircase, directly overlooking the staircase.
Yeah.
And then to the right, if you're in my bedroom looking out my door, to the right is the room that they were supposedly shot in. And there's a air vent that you can see all the way through the room. Okay? I'm sitting there, and I hear noises, like knocking at my door, my bedroom door. So I think one of the girls is home, because I'd heard, you know, something coming up the stairs.
Mm-hmm.
I had homework on my bed. So notepad, pencil, backpack, and all that stuff unloaded on my bed.
Yeah.
I open the door, and I step halfway out the door, and there's no one there. I yell and yell, nobody answers. So at this point I'm like, oh, okay, it's the stair thing, cool, whatever. I turn around and I leave my door open. I walked over to my window to see if the elementary school had let out, which they had not. At that point, I turn back towards my bed and my notepad is gone. So I'm like, okay, one of the girls has to be home. I go back towards the door, and there lays my notepad on the floor in the middle of the hallway. Nothing written on it, my notepad's just on the floor. So now I'm like, okay, what's going on? I bend over to pick up the notepad, and my bedroom door slams on me. My bedroom door opens into my room. I was the only one in the room. And then a week later, nobody slept in that back bedroom. My parents were, at this point, they were sleeping downstairs, while my mom and my stepdad were sleeping downstairs. And I was in my bedroom, and I'm laying on my bed, and the head of my bed, you could look over and see that vent.
Mm-hmm.
I look over, and there's a face staring at me through the vent.
That's disturbing. Very disturbing.
The face says, "Get out." I didn't know what to do. So I lay there, I close my eyes, I open my eyes, and the face is still there. And the face is growling. At this point, I got dressed, I went downstairs, and that was one of the first of many times that I snuck out of my house. I didn't come home that night. I stayed gone. And things like that continued to happen. The woman in the white dress, I would see her on the staircase at that point, walking up and down the staircase. There would be times if I was standing in the hallway in that room, that back room, the door was open.
Yeah.
You could look out those windows from the hallway and you would see a man at night standing in the yard right in front of the garage. But there was never a man out there when you got down there. There would never be foot tracks if there was snow. There was no impressions in the yard if it was raining. But there was a man standing there. And just stuff like that continuously, over and over and over again. I was in the basement doing laundry and had the washer door slammed on my fingers. I think you had asked me at that point, I think we were 7th or 8th grade, and you'd asked me why my hand had bandage wrapped around it. And the washer lid had cut my hand open. And it slammed down so hard. Just so stuff like that continued to happen for 2 years. And it wasn't just me, it happened to other people in the home.
Yeah.
But that's stuff that I actually saw and went through. It was pretty stupid, crazy.
Well, I think these are just normal occurrences. These are the things that kept on rewinding in your house, and you would just see these particular two. One is a man that's, well, basically threatening you.
Yeah.
The other one is a woman in white that just acknowledges her presence.
Yeah.
So I think we can halt off here because these are just the normal ones. We'll get to the sort of evil that plagued the house later on.
Yeah.
And this has been an episode of Real People, Real Ghost Stories. Basically, I'm just going to say this is a part 1 to the house on Main Street. And we'll see you next time. Bye.
Please subscribe to the Punkcraft channel. Please hit that notification bell. And thank you for watching. Leave a comment. Bye.